We're just going to wait for Senator Carozza and then we'll get started. We'll wait just 1 or 2 more minutes for Senator Carozza, and then we're just going to move. Guys, we've got the full team here, so why don't we let's start with Stacy right off the bat. We've got a motion motion not to concur, but Stacy, why don't you explain to the committee what you got there?
So this is Senate Bill 377, Higher Education Teacher Development and Retention Program definition. As you recall, this altered the definition of institution of initial eligibility to include community colleges as eligible institutions as part of the criteria for applicants for the Teacher Development Retention Program. The House amendments alter certain school years for participation in the program, and the fiscal note writer highlighted there was a misalignment with that date and another study that needed to be conducted on the effectiveness of the program. So I've already talked with council. The recommendation is to not concur so that amendments can be made so that both bills can be corrected.
Okay, a motion not to concur, a motion from Vice Chair, second from Sarah Augustine. Any questions? Okay, so the motion to not concur. Okay, all in favor of the motion to not concur, raise your hand. All opposed, that motion carries. Now let's go to the list. Let's start with, we have 2 Senate bills, one of which has to go to the Budget and Tax Committee. So why don't we, Dara, why don't we start with Senator Gazzoni's bill, Senate Bill 1144, which we still have to send over to B&T. Yes, this is voting list number 46. There are 2 Senate bills on there. So let's start with the 2 Senate bills then.
So Senate Bill 1144, Clean Water Commerce Account, contracts for the purchase of environmental outcomes. There is also House Bill 1266, which is the cross-file. Senate Bill 1144 requires the Maryland Department of the Environment to allow non-uniform payment schedules and include financial incentives when entering into a contract for the purchase of environmental outcomes under the Clean Water Commerce Account. More specifically, when entering into a contract, the department must, for the purpose of reducing financing costs for the owner of a project or practice in the state, allow non-uniform payment schedules that take into account the upfront capital investment needed in order to generate the initial environmental outcomes for a project or practice, and include financial incentives to ensure the owner's commitment to the operation and maintenance of the project or practice for its proposed expected life. There is one amendment on voting list number 46, page 2 of your package, pages 2 and 3 rather. This amendment would conform Senate Bill 1144 to House Bill 1266 in its current posture. And the amendment limits the requirement on the department for contracts for projects that includes construction, reconstruction, or rehabilitation. As amended, the department shall allow non-uniform payment schedules allowed for a cost per pound of nitrogen reduced that varies with the achievement of performance milestones as agreed upon by both parties to the contract. The first performance milestone may not occur before the construction, reconstruction, or rehabilitation is complete. In order to ensure the achievement of environmental outcomes agreed to in a contract, the department may require a minimum final payment, and for a contract award that is more than $500,000, additional financial protections, including a letter of credit, an insurance instrument, or a performance bond. There is no opposition.
Okay, we have one amendment. Any questions for Dara about the single amendment, which would conform it to House Bill 1266? Yes, Senator Carozza.
This is a bill that, when you said no opposition, that's jointly assigned? Is that when you?
Yeah, this is a bill that, I mean, it's jointly signed to budget and taxation, but they're second, we're primary.
Okay.
Okay, questions? We do have, again, a conforming amendment to the House bill. Any questions? Okay, anybody want to move an amendment? Okay, we've got Senator Augustine moving that conforming amendment. Is there a second? Senator Brooks, any discussion about the amendment? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of that amendment to Senate Bill 1144, raise your hand. All opposed? The ayes have it. That now we've got Senate Bill 1144, which is in the same posture as House Bill 1266 in front of us. Okay, how about both bills, the two and the crossbill file? We've got a motion favorable on those two bills from Senator Augustine, a second from Senator Watson. Was that it? Okay. Any further discussion about these two pieces of legislation? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the two bills, Senate Bill 1144, House Bill 1266, raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Okay, we've got 3 nays, 8 yeses. Here, why don't let's do a roll call. So Lemoria, again, we'll do a roll call in this one so she can take it down.
All right, Senator Kagan? Aye. Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine? Yes. Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion? No. Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson? Yes. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Lewis Young? Yes. Senator Lewis Young, yes. Senator Brooks? Yes. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza? Senator Carozza, no. Senator Hester? Yes. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington? Yes. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Salmonair? Senator Salmonair, no. Senator Feldman?
Yes, the bill carries 8-3. Let's next go to Senator Hershey, and we have a cross-file, exact same cross-file from Delegate Griffith. It's a bill we just heard yesterday. I don't believe there was any opposition. Senate Bill 1169 and House Bill 697 on the other list 45. But this is, again, we're on list 46. Senator Hershey and Alexis, why don't you remind everybody what this bill does from Senator Hershey?
Sure. Senate Bill 1169, real estate brokers, commercial transactions, buyers' rights. This bill requires commercial real estate contracts to contain a statement in bold font indicating that a buyer may select their own title insurance, their own settlement company, their own escrow company, and their own title lawyer. For real estate transactions, the bill similarly prohibits a broker from requiring buyers to employ a particular title, settlement, escrow company, or lawyer. For contracts and transactions, sellers may not be prohibited from offering owner financing as a condition of the settlement. There were no amendments and no opposition.
Okay, Senator Gallion is moved favorable, Vice Chair second. Again, we're talking Senate Bill 1169 and House Bill 697 are in the same exact posture. Any discussion? All in favor of those two bills, raise your hand. All opposed, both those bills carry. Let's go over to number 47. We have one Prince George's Montgomery delegation joint piece of letter. We have letters from both delegations. Let's knock that out. House Bill 989 over on voting list 47. And Alexis.
All right, House Bill 989, Montgomery County subdivision plats, conditions. This local bill authorizes the Montgomery County Planning Board to tentatively approve a subdivision plat, subject to the plat meeting or completing specified conditions. The tentative approval specification may not be entered on the subdivision plat. The bill states that after the conditions that warranted tentative approval instead of full approval are met, a post-completion hearing is not required. We do have a local letter, as mentioned.
Any questions on this, about this local bill? Is there a motion? Vice Chair Kagan, favorable. Senator Watson. We've got the Prince George's Montgomery delegation in front of us. House Bill 989. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed. That bill carries unanimously. Now let's go back to list number 45, which will be our main list here. We're just going to go through it, start at the top and make our way through it. So we're going to start with House Bill 92, which is a cross-file, a bill that we previously did pass, Senate Bill 620 from Senator Carter. Finance is second, so we do need to, if we pass this, has to go to the Finance Committee as well. So House Bill 92, and we're going to go to you, Stacy.
House Bill 92, Resources and Education for All Prisons, REAP Act. This bill requires the Maryland Department of Labor to set goals for the number of incarcerated individuals in education programs, establish a tracking system for the number of incarcerated individuals in education programs, establish a tracking system for the progress of incarcerated individuals in education programs as specified, forward specified data to the Maryland Higher Education Commission, and adopt regulations to carry out these provisions. MHEC may assist the Department of Labor in creating and required tracking systems. The bill specifies that the governor must provide funding annually in the budget for the Department of Labor to use for marketing for education programs to incarcerated individuals and for the required tracking systems. The Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services must assist incarcerated individuals in accessing federal Pell Grants for higher education and adopt regulations to carry out these provisions. There is one set of amendments offered by the chair. It begins on page 4 and your reprint on page 6. And these amendments would conform the bill to Senate Bill 620 as passed by the Senate. And as I just noted, it also passed by the House favorable. So this would make the two bills identical. And what this does is strike the Department of Labor from the bill and requires only the Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services to assist incarcerated individuals under the bill. It requires the department to consult with specified institutions of higher education, including all University System of Maryland institutions, makes provisions of the bill applicable to all post-secondary education programs versus education programs generally. And it requires, instead of authorizing MHEC to assist the Department of Public Safety in creating the tracking systems under the bill.
You just refresh our memory. What was the vote on the Senator Carter Bill SB 620?
I believe it was unanimous.
Why don't you just
Let's see.
confirm that? Okay, we have an amendment. We have an amendment to conform House Bill 92 to Senate Bill 620. Is there a second? Senator Washington. Okay, let's take up the amendment. Okay, all in favor of this conforming amendment, raise your hand. All opposed. Okay, now we've got a House Bill 92 in front of us. Again, we've already passed Senate Bill 620. Any discussion? Okay. Is there a motion favorable on House Bill 92 as amended? Senator Washington, favorable. Second, Senator Watson. Okay, all in favor of House Bill 92 as amended, raise your hand. All opposed. House Bill 92 carries. Let's go next to bill from Baltimore County Delegation, House Bill 108, Stacy.
House Bill 108, Baltimore County Board of Education, non-student member compensation and student member scholarships alterations. This bill increases compensation for members of the Baltimore County Board of Education. The compensation for each non-student member, other than the chair of the board, increases by $9,000 to a total of $16,500 annually. Compensation for the board chair increases by $10,000 to a total of $17,500 annually. The student member scholarship is also increased by $2,500 such that the student member who completes a full term on the county board must receive a scholarship of $10,000. Compensation increases do not apply to the compensation of board members serving in a term beginning before the effective date of the bill and only take effect upon the next term of office or in the event an individual is appointed or elected to fill an unexpired term after the effective date of the bill. The effective date of the bill is delayed till 7/1/26. There's no amendments, there's no opposition, and a local letter has been received.
Okay, would our Baltimore County representative want to move this? Okay, House Bill 108 has been moved by the Baltimore County Senator Brooks, second from Senator Washington. We have a letter.
Also has Baltimore County.
That's true, a portion. So that is the Brooks-Washington tandem there. Okay, all in favor of House Bill 108 from Baltimore County, raise your hand. All opposed? That bill carries. Let's stick with local bills here. Stacy, let's go to House Bill 151 from Charles County.
House Bill 151, Charles County Board of Education Vacancy Procedures, Timing and Video Streaming and Archiving. This bill requires that vacancies on the Charles County Board of Education must generally be filled within 90 days of the vacancy occurring. In instances where the vacancy occurs in an election year for the seat that is vacant, the board may choose not to fill a vacancy. Additionally, the board must make live video streaming and a complete video recording of each public meeting at which applicants for a vacancy are interviewed available on the board's website in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. There are no amendments, and a local letter has been received.
Okay, we have no amendments. We have a letter from the local delegation, Charles County. Is there a motion? You want to move the local chart? Okay, Senator Brooks moves the local bill from Charles County favorable. Is there a second? Second? Second from Senator Lewis Young. All in favor, House Bill 151, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, that bill carries. House Bill 151. Let's go down to let's stick with the locals. House Bill 424 for Montgomery County. Alexis, let's just again jam out all these local bills.
Right, House Bill
424.
424. Montgomery County Housing Opportunities Commission alterations. This local bill repeals provisions requiring a public hearing on proposed assisted family housing projects and a related reporting and public notice requirement. The local bill repeals the requirement also to provide public notice of a financial report from the Housing Opportunities Commission. We do have a local letter.
Okay, does anybody from Montgomery County want to move this piece of legislation from Montgomery County? Okay, Vice Chair Kagan is the favorable. Is there a second? Senator Watson, House Bill 424 from Montgomery County. All in favor?
And we have the letter.
And we have a letter. House Bill 424, raise your hand. Local bill. All opposed? That bill carries. Let's go to Anne Arundel County. House Bill 541 from Anne Arundel County. Stacy?
House Bill 541, Anne Arundel County Student Loan Assistance Repayment Program for Educators established. This bill authorizes the Anne Arundel County to establish a student loan assistance repayment program for educators employed by the Anne Arundel County Public Schools. The purpose of the program is to attract, recruit, and retain a diverse cadre of qualified educators in the school system that reflects the student population within county schools. The program must be administered by Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Funds for the program must be provided on an annual basis in the county budget in an appropriation separate from the county appropriation to the operating budget of the Anne Arundel County Board of Education. Funds for the program may be used to cover administrative expenses of the program. There is one amendment offered by the Anne Arundel County Senators, begins on page 12 of your packet. This amendment would conform the bill to Senate Bill 657 as amended and passed by the Senate. It adds the definition of the term educator. We have a local letter too.
Okay, there are no amendments? Or no, it conforms to the Senate
Right.
bill. I'm sorry.
There is one amendment.
Okay, our senator from Anne Arundel, would you want to move that amendment? Okay, Senator Simon Air moves that conforming amendment. Is there a second? From Senator Lewis Young. All in favor of the conforming amendment on House Bill 541, raise your hand. All opposed, that amendment carries. We now have House Bill 541 as amended in front of us. Senator Simon Air, would you like to move the bill as amended? Okay, 541 as amended is in front of us. Second from Senator Lewis Young. All in favor? House Bill 541 as amended, raise your hand. All opposed. That bill carries. Let's just go to the back page. We got a few other locals bills. Let's go to our friends from Prince George's County. House Bill 821, Stacy, from the Prince George's County delegation.
House Bill 821, Prince George's County Student Support, Specialist Networks and Success Action Plans, Student Supports and Success Act. This bill establishes a student support specialist network with specified membership in each public high school in Prince George's County and requires each network to develop, complete, and implement a student support success action plan. To support each network in developing plans, the Prince George's County Board of Education must, by August 31st, 2024, develop, approve, and disseminate a template for a student support success action plan with specified elements. The county board must set a deadline for submission of plans for approval from networks, and each network must submit a plan for approval before implementation. By July 1, 2025, and each July thereafter, each network must report on the results of the plan's implementation to the county board. There is one amendment offered by the Prince George's County Senators, and that's on page 15 of your packet. This amendment conforms the bill to Senate Bill 654 as passed by the Senate, and the amendment alters the date by which the county board must develop, approve, and disseminate the required template to December 1, 2024 from August 1st, 2024. And there is a local letter.
Does anybody from Prince George's County want to move the amendment? Okay, we got Senator Watson moves that amendment. Senator Augustine's the second. Again, we're on House Bill 821. All in favor of the amendment, raise your hand. All opposed, that motion carries. We now have 821 as amended in front of us. Is there a motion favorable on the bill as amended? Senator Augustine moves favorable, and a second from Senator Watson. House Bill 821 as amended. All in favor, raise your hand. That bill carries. Okay, we're going to go back to the front page, but before we do that, Dara, you've got a concurrence, I'm told.
Yes, I have a concurrence for Senate Bill 969, which is the whole Watershed Act. I also have the cross-file HB 1165 with conforming amendments.
Do this on back on the second page of. Yeah, so we've got voting list number 45. If you go to the second page, we go down to House Bill 1165, and then we've got the Senate Bill 969 is the cross file. Senator Elfer's bill. Okay, Dara, what do we need to do process wise on this? Just make sure we get it right. We want to. Okay, yield back to you.
So I guess I'll start with what the bill does, I suppose.
Yeah,
Is
refresh
probably the
everybody's
best
memory.
thing.
If you recall, this was a big bill. We had Senator Elfreth in here, going through the bill, one of our work sessions. So it was a significant piece of legislation. Yes, Dara, why don't you do?
So I will just add that there is an amendment for House Bill 1165 on page 19 with a reprint beginning on page 29, which runs through page 71. So to summarize, the bill establishes the whole watershed restoration partnership to accelerate the restoration of the Chesapeake and Atlantic coastal bays and their watersheds. The partnership provides grants and technical assistance to eligible projects over a period of 5 years. The whole watershed fund is established in the Department of Natural Resources to provide funding for approved projects and is generally authorized to receive funding from specified state agricultural and environmental special funds. There's a state management team established by the Secretary of Natural Resources to administer the partnership. The management team must, by October 1st, 2024, and every 5 years thereafter, issue a request for proposals for projects that meet specified criteria for location benefits and local government support. By March 1st, 2025, and every 5 years thereafter, the state management team may approve up to 5 projects to receive assistance. There were amendments in the House, which would have been different to how we heard the bill last time, which removed the stream restoration licensing board from the bill, as well as related licensing provisions and penalties. The House's amendments had also clarified that the fund could be used to satisfy match requirements of any federal source, or could be used for matching with county, municipal, or private funds or in-kind support for a project. There is also an amendment which begins on page 19 from Delegate Love, which was also reflected in Senate Bill 969. The amendment changes the name of the bill and establishes certain notice and documentation requirements. At 30% design completion, a project applicant is required to provide public notice as specified in the bill. There is also a public meeting requirement at 60% design completion, although there's an exception for this for individuals who are particularly remote with no residence or business within 200 feet of the project boundaries on their own property. Same individuals are exempt from another requirement to post on their website within 24 hours of submitting an application that they have done so. Furthermore, the amendment establishes the requirements for the Department of the Environment regarding authorizing stream and floodplain restoration projects. On completion of a stream and floodplain restoration project, the department is to provide at least 5 years of monitoring. The amendments also establish reporting requirements for the department and any changes made to the stream restoration authorization checklist. The bill takes effect July 1st, 2024, although the provisions relating to stream and floodplain restoration projects do not take effect until July 1st, 2025, is my understanding, and I will defer to Senator Hester. We also have Senator Alfred's Chief of Staff here, that all of the sponsors of the bill on both sides are in favor of Senate Bill 969 and House Bill 1165 as before us.
Okay, just to refresh our memory on the 969 bill that we had passed out previously, what was the vote in the committee? You have that? Just so we have a sense.
Let me see.
Committee 14 to 5.
10 votes, 1 abstention.
In this committee, it was 10
Yep.
votes, 1 abstention. Okay. Okay, so back to House Bill 1165. We started this conversation with a motion to concur, correct? So I
Correct.
just want to make sure we get the process sequence. What are you recommending here?
Well, I would recommend to concur, given the fact that all of the sponsors are on board. It does remove quite a bit of what was previously in the bill. The main thing that's taken out is the licensing board and the related
Okay,
provisions and
we're doing,
penalties.
the concurrence is on the Senate
Yes,
bill. Okay, so let's first take up the House bill, which we have to put amendments on, and then we can move to concur with those amendments on the Senate bill. I think the sequence here seems like that makes sense to me. So back on House Bill 1165, there's a lot of amendments. Senator Hester, do you want to weigh in on these amendments? And, there was a lot to unpack there from Dara.
Yeah, there was a lot to unpack. Basically, we passed the bill out of this committee with like 3 big parts: the contracting board, the whole watershed act, with the 5 big projects, and then some guardrails. This amendment adds on the guardrails to the House bill but does not add on the contracting board. So you're kind of getting 2 of the 3 things. And so I am favorable of this amendment, and we'll move the Senate to be the same posture.
Okay, so we're moving the amendment from Senator Hester is moving the amendments on House Bill 1165 favorable. Is there a second? From Vice Chair Kagan. Okay, discussion about these amendments, questions for Dara, for Senator Hester? Okay, we'll just take up the amendments. All in favor of these amendments, raise your hand. Okay, do we have opposition to the amendments? We're just on the amendments. Okay, the amendments carry. We now have House Bill 1165 as amended in front of us. For this one, we may do a roll call. Senator Hester, just more broadly, any additional comments, and we can do a roll call on this one, and then we'll move to concur on 969 to 1165.
I mean, at a very high level, I really support the bill, because I think it's going to focus our state resources in 5 stream areas where they can make really big impacts, and also put on some guardrails for the smaller projects. And so we had a lot of conversation, including one Sunday we were on the phone for 8 hours. We got all the stakeholders on board. And so I just would like to applaud the bill sponsors in both the House and the Senate for their hard work.
Okay, do you want to move the bill as?
I would move the bill as amended.
Okay, moving 1165 as amended. Is there a second? Second Vice Chair Kagan, discussion. Okay, let's do a roll call, Lamore, on this one.
Senator Kagan.
Aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine. Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion. Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Lewis Young. Senator Lewis Young, yes. Senator Brooks. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza.
No, and to explain my vote, I haven't had the opportunity to take the new amendments and check with the Maryland Coastal Bays on that.
All right, Senator Carozza, no. Senator Hester. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington.
Yes.
Senator Washington, yes. Senator Simoneau. Senator Simoneau, yes. Senator Feldman.
Yes, bill carries 9-2. Now let's go to the concurrence. So is there a motion to concur Senate Bill 969? We're concurring with what we just did on House Bill 1165. Is there a motion to concur from Senator Hester? Would you like to move to concur?
So did they amend the Senate bill in the House to match this? Like,
Oh, they're exactly the same. Okay, but
so then,
so why do we need a motion to concur?
I don't think we do. That's why I asked. Do we?
I'll defer to Stacy on procedure here.
Well, they've,
Both are identical.
huh? Well, the Senate Bill's 969 and it's passed in the same form as what we just did to 1165. So why would we need to concur? There's nothing to
Okay,
concur to.
okay,
Okay, I think we're good to go.
all right. Apologies.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine.
So my understanding is that they amended the Senate bill in the House.
Yes,
And so is it back over here?
not yet. They amended it today.
So we will need
Oh,
to concur, but
okay.
not yet.
Okay,
Okay, well, I have,
okay, so it's premature. You're saying it's premature.
So
Okay,
we just need to move.
can we do a preemptive, move to concur and okay, let's respect
I-
process.
I have the form from them that I received earlier today.
Okay, let's
So-
take up the motion to concur, and even if it's technically premature, it'll count towards tomorrow when we have it in our possession. Is that okay? Okay, there was a motion to concur from Senator Hester. Is there a second from Senator Augustine? All in favor of the motion to concur, raise your hand. All opposed? Those bills are in the same posture. I actually missed one local delegation. Let's go down to House Bill 1321 from Charles County. And this one actually has to go over to the Budget and Tax Committee. So let's take that up next. House Bill 1321, Alexis, remind us what that does.
Yeah, House Bill 1321, Land Use, Southern Maryland Code County, Subdivision Regulations, Property Dedication and Fee. This bill authorizes counties in Southern Maryland that have adopted home rule, so essentially Charles County, to dedicate real property for recreational use or to pay a fee for improvement of property for recreational facilities. We do have a local letter for this local bill.
Okay, we have a local bill from Charles County. Is it clean? No amendments?
No
No
amendments.
amendments. Okay, Senator Augustine moves favorable on House Bill 1321. Is there a second? Second from Senator Brooks. Okay, discussion. All in favor, House Bill 1321, raise your hand. All opposed, 1321 carries. Senator Lewis Young, just to clarify, I'm just going back up on House Bill 1110. Is that considered a local Frederick bill, or is that not a local bill? Okay. Is that considered a local?
No,
bill?
it's not
Okay,
considered a
then
local
let's hold off on that. Let's take up, the speaker was here last week. We don't want to, we want to keep the relationship with the Speaker of the House. So go down to House Bill 1287. Stacy, tell us the bill from Speaker.
This is House Bill 1287, School Leadership Training Program Alterations. This bill combines two school leadership training programs already required to be established by the Maryland State Department of Education in conjunction with the Accountability and Implementation Board into one program and modifies the attendance requirement. Specifically, the bill establishes that the state superintendent of schools, local superintendents of schools, senior instruction-related staff, AIB members, members of the State Board of Education, members of local boards of education, and school principals all must complete the training, but only at least once. The bill also expands the required content areas for the combined school leadership training program and alters the required modes of instruction for the program. There is one amendment that's offered by the chair. It's a standalone amendment. It says HB 11287 on the top. It says STAG at the top too. Okay. This amendment, essentially offered by the AIB, limits the duration of a training program to 12 months instead of allowing it to be up to 24 months, and requires the state superintendent, each county superintendent, and the chair and vice chair of the State Board of Education, each county board, and the Accountability and Implementation Board to take the school leadership training or complete the school leadership training. Further, it encourages other board members and senior instruction-related staff or school principals to complete the training to the extent practicable. And MSDE and AIB have agreed on both of these changes.
Okay, is there any questions on this amendment from AIB, et cetera? Any questions? Okay, anybody want to move that amendment? You want to move the amendment? Vice Chair Kagan moves this amendment. Second from Senator Brooks. Discussion. All in favor of this amendment, raise your hand. All opposed, the amendment carries. We now have House Bill 1287 from the Speaker as amended in front of us. Is there a motion? Senator Brooks moves favorable, second from Senator Watson. Okay, all in favor of House Bill 1287 as amended, raise your hand. All opposed, that bill carries. Let's go back to the front page. Pick up where we left off. We're going to go, Dara, back to you on House Bill 233.
And there are a couple of people here from the Critical Area Commission, if I could call them up.
Questions, but why don't you go through the
Sure.
bill?
House Bill 233, Chesapeake and Atlantic Coastal Bays Critical Area Protection Program, Climate Equity and Administrative Provisions. This departmental bill modifies the Chesapeake and Atlantic Coastal Bays Critical Area Protection Program to incorporate climate resilience, environmental justice, and equity measures. The bill also extends the requirement that critical area maps be updated on a regular interval and makes various technical, conforming, and administrative changes. The bill requires the governor to include in the annual budget bill an appropriation to provide grants to assist local jurisdictions to incorporate climate resiliency and equitable planning into an updated local program. The bill also requires each local jurisdiction to review its entire program and propose any necessary amendments to its entire program, including local zoning maps, at least every 10 years rather than currently 6. The Commission shall extend this deadline by a year following an initial request by a local jurisdiction. If the local jurisdiction fails to update an adopted program by this deadline or by the end of the 1-year extension, the Commission is required to take certain steps to notify the local jurisdiction that its program needs to be updated with 4 attempts in a 3-year period. The Commission may update the program if the local jurisdiction does not update its program within 2 years of the last notice from the Commission. The bill also adds provisions relating to program amendments and refinements by a local jurisdiction, including circumstances under which a critical area designation may be granted. There is one amendment from Senator Augustine on pages 9 and 10 of your packet. The amendment modifies the definitions of climate resiliency and equity and makes conforming changes.
Okay, we have an amendment. Do you want to just describe it? Or-
Yeah, no, we did this in partnership with the folks from Chesapeake, and so I think it makes it a little bit stronger, better definition, and so I moved the amendment.
Okay, we have an amendment moved favorable by Senator Augustine on, again, we're on House Bill 233. Any questions for Senator Augustine or for Dara? Or
Thank
okay,
you.
second from Vice Chair Kagan. Any? Yes, Senator Carozza.
Just as a refresher, before we vote on the amendment in the bill, and maybe Dara can answer this, but I'm just trying to understand we're incorporating the fiscal note describes this as incorporating climate resilience, environmental justice, and equity measures. And then it goes on to talk about the critical area maps being updated. And my question is, we have constituents who go through the process with the critical area commission, and I'm just trying to understand how this legislation will impact those cases that come before the commission.
Yeah, why don't we bring-
I just really am trying to
Ask-
understand how it's linked together.
Yeah,
It's-
whoever can maybe answer a couple of these questions, why don't you just come on up here and, did you hear Senator Carrozza's question? Okay, why don't you, and tell us who you are, so we'll know who's answering.
Good afternoon, committee. Eric Fisher, I'm the chair of the Critical Area Commission. Catherine Charbonneau is our executive director. Lisa Herger is our legislative and regulatory coordinator. And Senator Carrozza, if I could, I might just pass the microphone over to Ms. Charbonneau to answer your question related to, it sounded like it's
So
process
I'm
related.
really trying to understand how this legislation, I'm trying to not only understand what it does, but then how it might impact some of those cases and constituents that come before you.
Right, so
Put that mic a little bit closer to us where this is being streamed, okay?
it does not change the types of projects that would be reviewed and approved locally. Most of those decisions, your constituents are going to their planning and zoning office for review and approval. Those same regulations are going to continue and will apply. The mapping update is we're currently working with Worcester County right now on their first update of their local critical area program maps. That once there will be an in-depth public information process, the county council will have.
I'm
2 years.
I'm comfortable with the maps.
Okay.
And I thank you for your work in that. I think
Okay.
my question is when, and maybe you've answered it about the criteria, but it seems to me if we're incorporating these new
Okay.
standards, climate resilience, environmental justice, and equity,
How will that affect
these
them?
constituents already, and I know you all always advise that they should come to you on the front end, and that would
Mhm.
alleviate a lot of heartache, and I agree
Mhm.
with that, and we do encourage them to do that. But now it looks like we are gonna have some additional criteria to meet, and I guess I'm trying to figure out how that's going to work for constituent service.
Got it. I understand. Thank you. We will be working very closely if this bill passes with our local partners, so our local jurisdictions, on what does that specifically look like. So there's a regulatory process that we work with our commission. It's 28-member commission. We would develop regulations about what would go into local critical area programs that might say, here's how we look at considerations for sea level rise and incorporate that into our planning procedures. But whatever those regulations, turn out to be, that will be a process we'll develop with our local partners hand in hand.
And you define your local partners in
All of our 64 local jurisdictions. So we would,
meaning, are you talking about the
planning and
counties?
zoning, the counties
Okay,
and
and then
towns that have
Would,
local.
would the Maryland Coastal Bays be involved in this as
They
well,
would be a
locally?
nonprofit partner that we would definitely work with,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then those regulations, if they were once approved by the commission and incorporated, they would then get incorporated into local critical area programs. And we'd work with our local jurisdictions to make sure that those criteria reflect the needs of each local jurisdiction.
So all I'm asking, and maybe, I'm
Yeah.
asking for an assurance from you that, as you know, when the rules are changed, that that sometimes our constituents need to be walked through that on the front end to understand how to make sure they're in compliance. And I wouldn't want a situation where, we have all these constituents coming to us saying, what happened here? And there was no guidance,
Mhm.
with the partnership. So
Right,
if you
right.
could commit to that, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely. And I would say, especially with the amendments that were made on the House bill, we want to take the time to do this right. So there will be a period of about 8 years, honestly, between the time the bill would pass and the time the local programs are fully updated, to give everyone the opportunity to have dialogue, find the right balance for these specific regulations and then actually implement them through local programs. So
And-
no one's going to wake up tomorrow morning
Right.
and the world will have changed.
And I thank you, and I know you are making that extra effort with the locals. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion favorable on the amendments from Senator Augustine, a second from Vice Chair Kagan. Any further discussion just on the amendments for now? Okay, all in favor of the amendments that are in front of us, raise your hand to House Bill 233. All opposed, the amendments carry. We now have House Bill 233 as amended in front of us. Is there a motion? Favorable from Senator Augustine, second from Vice Chair Kagan. I don't have a sense. Let's do a roll call on this one, just to be clear. House Bill 233 as amended is in front of us for a vote.
All right, Senator Kagan.
Aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine.
Yes.
Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion.
Yeah.
Senator Gallion, yes. Senator Watson. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Lewis Young.
Yes.
Senator Lewis Young, yes. Senator Brooks.
Yes.
Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza.
Yes.
Senator Carozza, yes. Senator Hester.
Yes.
Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington.
Yes.
Senator Washington, yes. Senator Simonaire.
Yes.
Senator Simonaire, yes. And Senator Feldman.
Yes, the bill carries unanimously, 11-0. Next, House Bill 379, dealing with traveling animal acts. We've seen this issue before. Dara, talk to us. What would the House do?
House Bill 379, Wildlife Traveling Animal Acts Prohibition. This bill is the cross-file of Senate Bill 547, which passed this committee by a vote of 9 votes to 1. This bill prohibits, with specified exceptions, a person from allowing for the performance of a covered animal in a traveling animal act. Covered animal is defined as a bear, cougar, elephant, jaguar, leopard, lion, non-human primate, and tiger. The term includes a hybrid of any one of these animals. There's one amendment from the sponsor. The amendment broadens the exemption for performances that take place at non-mobile permanent institutions or fixed facilities to include where covered animals are transported to the institution or facility for the sole purpose of performance and are at the institution or facility for 60 days or more.
Questions about that amendment? Yes, Senator Simonaire?
Dara, do you know if that's trying to bring in a specific group or organization into the bill?
I'm not aware of a specific organization. I'm afraid I can't answer that.
I'm just wondering why the amendment?
Senator Lewis Young, do you have something you want to weigh in on this?
I believe that was by request of the Catoctin Zoo. And the request was made to Senator Corderman, who passed it back to the bill author because it put them in a difficult situation for when they take animals. Let me see, is there anyone that can answer that specific situation that
Could,
this protects?
yeah, I mean, if you just again, this one specific amendment, if you get some more information, we just had Senator Corderman's name thrown out here. Could you just shed it? Come on up. Tell everybody who you are and, yeah.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Senator Lewis Young. You're right on track with that answer. So the Catoctin Zoo sometimes has rotating exhibits. I'm sorry. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. My name is Jennifer Bevan Dangle. I'm the State Director for the Humane Society of the United States. So the Catoctin Zoo sometimes has rotating exhibits where they might bring in something and feature it for a period of time. And there was just some concern around the ability to continue to do that. So this was heavily worked out with Catoctin, Corderman, and the sponsors. And all parties have agreed that this is a good final resolution.
Yeah, go on.
So that makes sense to me, and I appreciate that. One other question is, why don't we just call them monkeys? I mean, everywhere else I see monkeys, we're calling them something. If you go out on the street, they probably say, what in the world are you talking about?
And so I have been in trouble internally for calling various non-human primates monkeys. Apparently apes and chimpanzees and monkeys should not be technically merged together. And that is actually about all I know. So I'm very careful now to say non-human primates myself.
Okay, any additional questions? Yes, Senator Lewis Young?
Could you give an example of where the Catoctin Zoo might transport an animal for the purpose of an exhibit?
Directly, I don't know. I do know that sometimes zoos do, however, have these sort of rotating exhibits where there might be like an endangered species, say that they're trying to highlight and feature and do conservation education around. That was my understanding from the conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, we have that amendment. It was it moved? I can't recall the amendment. You moved the amendment. Sir Lewis Young, is there a second on the amendment? Vice Chair Kagan, could you want to?
Sure, I
Second.
will happily second that amendment.
Okay, we've got we're on,
I'm just reading the bill really fast, Mr. Chair.
sure.
I
okay.
think this is implied, but the animals we're talking about are alive animals. Okay, thank you.
Okay, for those of you back home, that was a yes. Okay, House Bill 379 has an amendment. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of this amendment on this issue, raise your hand. All opposed? That amendment carries. We've got House Bill 379 as amended before us. Is there a motion?
Move favorable.
Favorable from Vice Chair Kagan, second from Senator Lewis Young. Discussion. Okay, all in favor of House Bill 379 as amended, raise your hand. Opposed? Okay, got Delegate Senator Gallion. And that's it. Okay, 10-1. Senator Gallion is in the red on that one. Okay. We're going to next go to Delegate Courtney Watson, not to be confused with Senator Ron Watson. House Bill 561. And Dara, we're going to go back to you.
House Bill 561, tree expert licenses, application and renewal fee alterations and insurance requirements. This bill is the cross-file of Senate Bill 683, which passed this committee by a vote of 8-2. The bill sets limits on fees relating to tree expert licenses, specifically examination fees, initial license fees, and renewal fees. The bill also authorizes the department to permanently revoke or temporarily suspend a tree expert license if the license holder fails to maintain liability, property, or workers' compensation insurance. There was no opposition. There was one amendment on page 13 of your voting package, which makes a technical change, which he also made to the Senate bill that was not made on the House side.
So we have a technical amendment to House Bill 561. Anybody want to move the technical amendment? Senator Watson, favorable. Got Vice Chair Kagan, second. All in favor of that technical amendment on 561, raise your hand. All opposed, amendment carries. Now we've got House Bill 561 as amended before us. Senator Watson moves favorable, second from Senator Brooks. Discussion. This bill was an 8-2 vote when it was in Senate, so let's do a roll call on this one.
Senator Kagan?
Aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine?
Yes.
Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion? Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson?
Yes.
Senator Watson, yes. Senator Lewis Young?
Yes.
Senator Lewis Young, yes. Senator Brooks?
Yes.
Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza?
No.
Senator Carozza, no. Senator Hester?
Yes.
Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington?
Yes.
Senator Washington, yes. Senator
No.
Salmonere? Senator Salmonere, no. And Senator Fallon?
Yes, bill carries 8-3. Let's now go back to the second page. We're going to start with up at House Bill 715, Delegate Griffith.
We already did the Griffith, when we did the Hershey, right?
No, that's a different Griffith bill. He has two bills. This is House Bill 715 at the top of it.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry.
There's one here, that's the crossfire
No,
to Hershey, right?
We already did that one.
That's what it does. Yeah, no, it's all that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we already
Make
did
sure.
697. We're at the top of the second page, House Bill 715, and we're going to go to you, Dara, on House Bill 715 from Delegate Griffith, the other bill.
House Bill 715, fishing and hunting licenses and trout stamps, complimentary licenses and stamp exemption, veterans determined to be unemployable. This bill is the cross-file of Senate Bill 533, which passed this committee and the Senate unanimously. The bill authorizes the Department of Natural Resources to issue a lifetime complimentary angler's license, a lifetime complimentary Chesapeake Bay and coastal sport fishing license, or a lifetime complimentary hunting license to a Maryland resident who certifies that the resident is an American veteran who the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs determines is unemployable, or an out-of-state person who certifies the same and whose state of residence extends similar privileges. There's no opposition. There is one amendment on page 14 of your package, which is makes a technical change.
Okay, we have a technical change amendment. Senator Gallion moves favorable on. Is there a second from Senator Simon Air? All in favor of the technical amendment, raise your hand. All opposed, that amendment carries. We have House Bill 715 as amended before us. Senator Gallion moves favorable, second from Senator Brooks. Okay, House Bill 715 as amended. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed, that bill carries unanimously. Let's go next to Alexis, House Bill 809 from Delegate Vogel.
House Bill 809, members of boards, committees, commissions, task forces, or work groups, removal or suspension. This bill indicates that a member of a board, committee, commission, task force, or work group created by state law may be removed or suspended for misconduct, incompetence, neglect, or quote, other good cause by the individual or entity that appointed the individual. Before removal of said person, a consultation with the chair and a notice requirement is required. Provision of notice rather is required.
Any amendments?
No amendments.
Okay, there are no amendments. Senator, okay, got a favorable from Vice Chair Kagan, a second from Senator Washington. Discussion. Okay, seeing that all in favor of House Bill 809 clean, raise your hand. All opposed, 809 carries unanimously. Let's go back to you, Dara, House Bill 841.
House Bill 841, Environment, Plastic Bottle Waste Reduction, Water Bottle, Filling Stations and Reporting. This bill requires beginning October 1st, 2024, that a water bottle filling station or a combined water bottle filling station and drinking fountain be installed in all new construction for which a drinking fountain is required under the current version of the International Plumbing Code or state or local law or regulation. The requirement applies only prospectively and does not apply to any new construction under contract before the bill's effective date. The Maryland Department of Labor must adopt implementing regulations. By October 1st, 2025, the Department of the Environment must conduct a related survey on plastic water bottle use by units of state government and institutions of higher education and identify alternative methods for providing drinking water. There are no amendments and no opposition.
Okay, we have a motion favorable and no amendments, and there was no opposition on House Bill 841. Favorable from Senator Kagan. Vice Chair Kagan, is there a second? Senator Lewis Young. Okay, discussion, questions? Yes, Senator Gallion.
Yes, this is for future buildings, but you know, the last few years, like for instance, Haverford Grace High School I'm in there for soccer games all the time for daughters and whatnot. They already have these in recent construction. I don't know why we really need this in legislation when it seems to me like this is already happening.
Dara, do you have anybody have any thoughts on that, Dara? No, okay, I mean, just, okay, well, statement, any other questions, statements before we go around the horn potentially or take a vote? Okay, so Senator Gallion weighed in about the necessity of the bill. That said, let's do a roll call.
Senator Kagan.
Aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine.
Yes.
Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion.
No.
Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson.
Yes.
Senator Watson, yes. Senator Lewis Young.
Yes.
Senator Lewis Young, yes. Senator Brooks.
Yeah.
Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carozza.
Yes.
Senator Carozza, no. Senator Hester. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington.
Yes.
Senator Washington, yes. Senator Simon Air. Senator Simon Air, no.
Okay,
Senator
so,
Feldman.
yes, carries 8-3. Let's go down to House Bill 990.
House Bill 990, Environment, Greenhouse Gas Emissions Reductions, Manufacturers. This bill alters the definition of manufacturing under the Greenhouse Gas Emissions Reduction Act to exclude the production of cement. The bill also alters provisions related to the regulation of greenhouse gas emissions reductions by other manufacturers under the Act. Firstly, provisions limiting greenhouse gas emissions reductions and cost increases are modified to apply only to persons who engaged in manufacturing in 2023. Second, limitations on sector-wide greenhouse gas emissions reductions and cost increases for manufacturing are narrowed to limitations on specific manufacturers and their greenhouse gas emissions and costs in 2023. The bill also requires the Maryland Department of the Environment to make specified considerations and consult with specified stakeholders related to the regulation of the production of cement. There is one amendment. The amendment establishes that, again relating to persons who engage in manufacturing in 2023, unless required by federal law or regulations or existing state law, regulations adopted by state agencies to implement a final plan may not require any greenhouse gas emissions reductions from a manufacturer engaged in the creation of renewable energy components or technology aimed at the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, as part of the consideration of any regulation of the production of cement, the department is required to consider credit for the manufacturing of alternative materials that result in the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. The amendment also clarifies the consideration of advancing policies that provide financial incentives to offset the cost of installing and transitioning to greenhouse gas emissions abatement technologies, includes the manufacturing of materials and technology that result in greenhouse gas emissions reduction.
Okay, there's a lot there. We're gonna go to Vice Chair Kagan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dara, on page 3, after line 16, could you just explain on H1 sub 1, the extent to which cement manufacturing is an energy intensive, I get that, and trade exposed industry. Could you explain what that is and the relevance of it for this bill, please?
Sure. So trade exposed industries are kind of core industries, the mostly manufacturing industries that release a large amount of greenhouse gas emissions, essentially.
Because it has to be shipped in or flown in.
The nature of what they're creating, it could be what's being shipped and what's been the process of making whatever it is.
And getting it here to use.
Yes.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, additional questions for Dara on the amendments? Okay, anybody want to move the amendments?
Sure.
Vice Chair Kagan moves the amendments, Senator Lewis Young seconds. Any discussion on these amendments? Okay. All in favor of the amendments as described by Dara, raise your hand. All opposed? Okay, the amendments carry. We now have House Bill 990 as amended in front of us. Anybody want to move any portion of the bill? We've got Senator Brooks is moving the bill 990 as amended. A second from Senator Lewis Young. Let's do a roll call on this one, Maureen.
All right, Senator Kagan.
Aye.
Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine. Yes. Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion. Yeah. Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson. Yes. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Lewis Young.
Yes.
Senator Lewis Young, yes. Senator Brooks. Yeah. Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carosa. Yeah. Senator Carosa, no. Senator Hester, I'm sorry. Yes. Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington. Yes. Senator Washington, yes. Senator Salmonair. No. Senator Salmonair, no. Senator Feldman.
Yes, bill carries 8-3. Let's next go to House Bill 1110. Alexis.
House Bill 1110, Maryland Intrastate Emergency Management Assistance Compact, City of Frederick. This bill authorizes the City of Frederick to participate in the Maryland Intrastate Emergency Management Assistance Compact for the provision of mutual emergency management assistance.
Any amendments?
No amendments.
Senator Lewis Young, is there anything else you want to add? I know we had Delegate Curran here. Okay, Frederick City. Okay, give a motion.
I'll move the bill.
Okay, I'll move the bill favorable. Is there a second? Second? Senator Brooks. Okay, we've got House Bill 1110, favorable, clean discussion. Yes, question from Senator Hester.
I apologize, I must have missed the hearing on this one. Why does Frederick want to be in this? And like, should I be concerned that Howard should or should not be in this?
Well, Howard County's already in it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Vice Chair Kagan.
I actually followed up and I asked the cities of Gaithersburg and Rockville why they're not in it and what the pluses and minuses are. And there are demands of I'm not going to come up with the word, like mutual support. And in case of Gaithersburg and Rockville, they're already doing that mostly within the county and then as they'd like to outside the county, but this kind of locks in everybody. And so they thought that they were kind of in good shape right now and didn't need to to sign in up officially.
Thank you. That answers my
Any
question.
additional questions for Senator Lewis Young, or okay, so we had a motion and a favorable and a second. All in favor of House Bill 1110 as amended, raise your hand. Or no, clean, I'm sorry, raise your hand. All opposed, bill carries unanimously. Let's go to House Bill 1139 from Delegate Solomon. It's a pilot program. It's a cross file of Senate Bill 882. Stacy?
So House Bill 1139, Growing Family Child Care Opportunities Pilot Program, Permanent Establishment. This bill repeals the termination date for the Growing Family Child Care Opportunities Pilot Program as originally established in chapters 437 and 438 of 2021, thereby establishing it as a permanent program within the Maryland State Department of Education. The bill also requires the governor for fiscal 2026 to include a $450,000 appropriation in the annual budget bill for the program. So this puts the Senate bill and the House bill in slightly different postures. I spoke with Senator King, the sponsor, and she's fine with accepting this version so that the program can go forward. So what her version, the Senate bill version did was it truly made it permanent and provided funding indefinitely. This only extends the funding for fiscal 2026.
Okay, so we're on House Bill 1139. Do we need
We just move favorable.
Okay, we've got Senator Augustine favorable, second from the Vice Chair. House Bill 1139 favorable. Questions about this pilot? Seeing none, all in favor, House Bill 1139, raise your hand. All opposed, 1139 carries clean. Let's go to the last page, page 3. First of all, House Bill 7, Delegate Stewart, we are going to hold, Alexis advised me there's a few technical amendments that this bill, we need to fix it up before we put House Bill 7 is a hold, which brings us to the final bill for today, House Bill 1386 from Chair Atterbury. Stacy?
House Bill 1386, Education School Employee Anti-Bias Training Requirements. This bill combines, how did that? I think I put, hold on. My script got a little wonky here. This bill requires the Maryland State Department of Education, in consultation with the Professional Standards and Teacher Education Board, to develop guidelines as specified for an anti-bias training program for school employees. Each local board of education, in consultation with teachers and other public school employees, must develop or update its training based on or incorporating the guidelines. Every other year, each local board of education must train each public school employee whose job duties include frequent interactions with students using its anti-bias training as specified. Similarly, a non-public school that participates in state-funded education programs should develop anti-bias training as specified. Every other year, each public school that develops an anti-bias training program must train each non-public school employee whose job duties include frequent interaction with students using its anti-bias training. There is one amendment in your packet on page 73. And this one, what this amendment would do is remove the Professional Standards and Teacher Education Board from the bill. It removes requirement that professional development training be conducted in a certain manner, and it strikes the requirements for non-public schools.
Questions for Stacy about this amendment? Questions? Motions? Yeah, question from Vice Chair Kagan.
Thank you. Stacy, I know that I'm in the reprint, but not in a packet reprint. Page 3 of 4 at the top, C1. You said every other year, each county board shall train each public school employee whose job duties include frequent interaction with students using its anti-bias training. What about for the people who start in the odd years? They don't get the training.
Well, they'll get it in the next year.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's just the way it's gonna be. Okay. All right, thank you.
Additional questions? Senator Carosa.
Thank you. I'm just trying to bring myself up to speed on the bill. Is this training I guess, who carries out the training and is it like some of these other bills that we have that the state gives the guidelines and then the counties build it out?
That's
And
correct.
okay, so the guidelines for building it out at the state level, where is that in this bill?
Let me pull it up here. It is,
So that's starting on page 2, is that?
there's a lot of stricken. So, you start on page 2 at the bottom in line 26, the department in consultation, striking the professional standards and teacher education board. Shall develop guidelines for anti-bias training for school employees.
So these are kind of the vague terms that we're using at the state level.
Correct.
And then this is supposed to then come down to the locals, to the individual county superintendents with the boards of education to build this out. I mean, I'm seriously asking a process question, Mr. Chair.
The process question is that the department will develop the guidelines and the guidelines get communicated to the local school systems. So probably not the county superintendent themselves, but the actual public school system will receive these. And then their responsibility is to take these guidelines and develop the actual program around them and then fulfill the requirements.
But this would be a new mandate and requirement on the individual school systems.
Yes.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Kagan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering what the thinking was, to the extent that you know, from the House conversations. Why did they take out non-publics?
Well, if you look at the testimony, it's very expensive what they're proposing to do. In fact, some of the locals said it was going to be very expensive. And if it's expensive for the large bureaucracies, then it's also expensive for a single public school to have to develop these requirements.
And MSD couldn't develop it all and then hand down a package that would just then be?
Well, MSD's costs were $100,000, they said, at least, to do the guidelines. And then in the testimony, it said one of the largest school systems, it would cost them over $600,000, they thought, as a ballpark, that it would be to develop that training.
Yeah, can I look into it? Because we used to have budget language, and I don't know if anyone in this room knows whether we have budget language this year that goes along with the Boost program about anti-discrimination.
But the Boost program does not deal, that's a scholarship essentially for the
Understood.
student, right?
But the whole question of whether they can, and we've had this on the floor many times, whether they are allowed to terminate an employee, a teacher, an employee, or expel a student who is gay or lesbian, or let alone trans, bi, LGBTQ. And there's, yes. Right, hold on, might be getting some information here. Okay, all right, we're getting some answers perhaps.
You know, people watch our voting sessions. I know that's hard to
Scary.
believe. And when questions pop up, I get a lot of texts.
Okay,
You getting some information?
I don't like the information that I got, but I will, I'll withdraw my question.
Okay,
you.
further questions for Stacy? And we have, just process wise, I apologize. We have an amendment.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's on page
Yeah.
73.
page 73.
Please ask for a motion for the amendments.
Yeah.
Okay, I move the amendments.
Sir Augustine moves these amendments that are set forth on page 73. Is there a second from Senator Lewis Young? Okay, any questions, further discussion on the amendments? We'll do a roll call, just make sure everybody is on the record on this one. This is just on the amendments.
Just on the amendments. I'm just gonna vote no on the amendment.
Okay, Senator Kagan, no. On the amendment, Senator Augustine.
Yes.
Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion.
Yes.
Senator Gallion, yes. Senator Watson. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Lewis Young. Senator Lewis Young, yes. Senator Brooks.
Yes.
Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carosa.
Yes.
Senator Carosa, yes. Senator Hester.
Yes.
Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington.
Yes.
Senator Washington, yes. And Senator Simonier. Senator Simonier, yes. Senator Feldman.
Okay, yes, amendments carried 10-1. We now have House Bill 1386 as amended before us. We've got Senator Augustine has moved the bill as amended favorable. Is there a second from Senator Lewis Young? Any further discussion? Let's go around the horn. Roll call.
All right, Senator Kagan. Senator Kagan, yes. Senator Augustine.
Yes.
Senator Augustine, yes. Senator Gallion.
No.
Senator Gallion, no. Senator Watson. Senator Watson, yes. Senator Lewis Young. Senator Lewis Young, yes. Senator Brooks.
Yes.
Senator Brooks, yes. Senator Carosa.
No.
Senator Carosa, no. Senator Hester.
Yes.
Senator Hester, yes. Senator Washington.
Yes.
Senator Washington, yes. Senator Simonier. Senator Simonier, no. Senator Feldman.
Yes, bill carries 8-3. House Bill 1386 as amended, and that completes our work for today, folks. And see you on the floor at 5 o'clock.